It's a little noisy in here. You guys are energized. Get some caffeine going on. So I want to talk about the new value proposition. I think it ties in perfectly with what Brian spoke about as far as brand. And we all have a value proposition, but we're going to look at things a little bit differently today. And I want you to really think outside the box. Just curious in the room, how many of you in the room are marketers? Marketers, okay, good. So from the branding play, to tying this together to now, what's my value proposition? And you might have one. If it works, great. I want you thinking a little differently, because I think if you look at the scale of things, the weakest link, I believe, in the messaging of our marketing is the proper message that we're delivering. It's what are we trying to do to send out something different? And you heard Brian say different. So we're going to get different a little bit for you today. And I want to get some of the people that are in the back of the room, if they could just come on, sit down. We're trying to get rolling. It's hard to hear up front. If maybe in the back, if someone could help us out, getting us quieted down a little bit, because I can see it's hard to hear. But I want to bridge the gap if we're going to do that today. All right, so first things first is I think we could accomplish this by playing a little bit of a game. Who's played or watched Family Feud in the room? Right? This goes back a little bit in some of the new Family Feud, then there's the old Family Feud. So for this, I just want to kind of have a little fun. You want to play some Feud? All right, let's play some Feud. I love that song. All right, the Feud. There you go. All right, so the Feud. First things first now is the top 6 answers on the board. We've interviewed 100 title agents and asked this question in 6 words or less. What is your value proposition? Survey says number 6, and you guys probably know these already. They safeguard their customers' info. To me, that would be like, bah. Number 5, survey says locally owned and operated, and this is true, we did actually interview a whole bunch of title agencies. These were their answers. Number 4, survey says decades of experience. Decades. And number 3, I know that'd be, number 3, survey says available anywhere, anytime. Yeah, now we're getting there, right? Yeah, this was enjoyable for me to do, too, on the interviews. Number 2, survey says, fast closings. Value propositions is what we're talking about. Let's keep that in mind. And number 1, the number 1 answer, who's going to guess it? Who's going to guess it? The best service. Number 1 answer. Interviewed 50 to 100 title agencies, not in the room, all different parts of the country, right? And that's the top 6. And you probably have your own. But here's what happens. We get stuck in saying the same old, same old, same old. And I'm going to tell you a story a little bit later on this when it ties to the mortgage business that has a very similar story. So we want to go outside the box and understand that these might have worked for you. Maybe they still do work for you, but I got to get you outside this box because we talk about making title sexy. We've got to step up and give a different value proposition from a different perspective. So if I asked you this question, and this is a good exercise you guys should do, because I'm doing it with some of my leadership teams that I coach, is ask yourself anonymously, so for example, I sent an email out to 4 or 5 leaders in one company, and I asked this question: what business are you in, and what's your value proposition in 6 words or less? And I want them to answer it all individually to me. Do not reply all. And it's amazing looking at all the different answers from the same company that are on the same team. So you have to start to think is what business are you in? So rather than let's figure this out for you this second, let's take a look at some other businesses so you can see the perspective of the businesses that people are in. Now, we all know Uber out there, right? Uber has to have sometimes, and you have to think about this for you too, Uber has 2 sets of clients. The first set of clients is the driver, right? You might have 2 sets of clients, but they have 2 sets of clients, the driver and then the consumer, right? So do you guys have 2 sets of clients? You have maybe a real estate agent or an attorney and then the consumer. So you might have to have two different or multiple, different value propositions. Except look what Uber's talking. Look how they discuss what they do. For the triggers in their slogans to the driver, it's earning more money on their schedule. And to the other, the consumer, it's safe, reliable rides in minutes. Right? So while they might be in the transportation company or they're in the transportation business, they're not. They will clearly tell you that their main business goal is simply to manage people's time and offer convenience. That's what they do. They don't say, we drive people, we have cars, we have the cleanest cars, our cars don't smell. Like, they don't have any of that. They simply say, our company helps people manage their time, gain control of their time, and offer convenience. That's the Uber model, nothing to do with cars and transportation, right? You saw Brian talk about Apple before, and I can ask a lot of people this question. I'll ask you, what business is Apple in? What business are they in? Yeah, just shout it out, we'll hear. Technology, what else? Experience, what else? Somebody say computers? Computers, right? TVs, Apple TVs. See, they're not. They're not really in any of those, maybe on the experience side. Here's what they actually sell. Their business is they build ecosystems to deliver a unique experience. Think about that. They build computers, they build iPods, iPhones, they build iWatches, all of this product. But because if they do a good job building an ecosystem that works together and gives you a good experience, couldn't they make any other product that you would want to buy if you were bought into that concept, right? They can make any other device and people will probably buy it if you bought into that theme. So they built an ecosystem. Doesn't say, we build great computers, we built really sexy phones, none of that. And as I'm saying these, I want you to start thinking about your business. I'm gonna give you some ideas. See, when they market their stuff, they bring sexy marketing and terminology, but they don't sell the product. When it comes to the Apple Watch, one of these, they don't tell you about how small it is or how much it can do. They simply sell this as freedom to make calls. It's freedom. You've given me freedom on my wrist. The AirPods, they're wireless, effortless, and they're magical. Not saying they're small, they have 8-hour battery life, they sound great, they're better than Bose, none of that. The MacBook, when you buy a MacBook, you're buying your light years ahead. You're buying the future. You're buying a touch of genius. You're buying an iPhone X, which is say hello to the future and nothing to do with the actual product. Follow? Legos, what business is Legos in? People are like, oh, and trust me, I have a whole room in my house dedicated to Legos. Creativity, right? So we start to think along those paths. Look at their words, and I love their concept here. Lego is a platform and experience provider. So they are a platform and an experience provider focused on the development of children's play and learning. Not we build blocks, we build toys, we build awesome toys, we build fun, nothing to do with the Lego. That's pretty amazing, because what else can Lego sell? A lot of things, not just blocks. It takes them into a whole different content with a platform of an experience provider. Anything could wrap around a Lego, value proposition. Right? Make sense? And until you really research some of this and understand, then I start to say, what do you sell? What product? The end game is we have to assume you do title really well. Like, that's the assumption. But beyond that, what else do you do? We saw KW before in Brian's presentation, and I'll tell you what, in the very beginning years of KW, it was very clear on their public statement their value proposition was simple, is they were a training and coaching company that happens to be in the real estate business. They never said they sold real estate. That was not their product. They were a training and coaching company that happens to be in real estate. Now, since their convention several weeks ago, they are now changed their value prop. They're now a technology company that provides a real estate platform that their agents and sellers prefer. So now they're a technology company that their agents and clients can use to make a better experience down the road. Not once have they said, we're in the real estate business. And yet, they're one of the largest in the real estate space that sell homes. So it's painting that picture of a different value prop to their agents, leveraging now technology. So I think, the beauty comes into all this is when you could sell action and experience or that emotion Brian was talking about earlier, that's where some of the best value props come from, is being able to feel that, see it, and understand that you might be doing other things that can help other people. So that being said, I want to challenge the status quo. This is the actual textbook definition of a unique value proposition. And you guys can read it. It's right out of the textbook. The factor or consideration presented by a seller as the reason that one product or service is different from and better than that of a competitor. And you know what I said? You're missing one important thing. To me, the most important thing you're missing. Read that again. Tell me what we're missing. What are we missing? I'm going to show you what we're missing. All of that might be good. You're missing the most important part, the consumer, the one that's going to buy your product. It had nothing to do with the actual person who's going to buy your product. So that definition, change it. I'm surprised they still print that in today's world, but that's still textbook. We don't have to follow the textbook. We change the status quo and realize that we should be consumer driven and start where the consumer starts. And I'm going to give you guys some really good strategies and thoughts and mindsets of this. I always like to refer back to my friend Simon, which always starts with why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And we start with the consumer and start with why. That's where we have to start from a value proposition. The other thing I want you to take a good look at is we have to start selling the problem, not the product. We got to find the problems in our customers and consumers' world. Not necessarily title problems, though. You guys know title problems. You deal with them every day. But what problem? So if we have a consumer being the end user and we have a real estate agent or a real estate team, what problems do they have that we can help solve? And if you don't know that yet, we've got to find some of that because that's where the magic opportunity lies. See, when it comes to your value prop, you got to think, okay, here's for my customer. Who are they? In some cases, it could be your attorneys. It could be your loan officers. It could be banks. It could be real estate teams and real estate companies. What does she do? What do they need? What problems do they have? How can we help them? And if you actually go ask them, which I'm actually going to tell you today what they are, but if you went and talked to them, they'll tell you their problems. Not just title, though. See, when you're a title person, they think they want to talk title back to you. I want to talk about what are the problems you really have in real estate? What are the problems do you have? What do they need help with? And you might say, Jeff, even if they say they need help, I'm not sure if I can help them. See, here's what has to happen. Just because you don't know all of that, how to help them, you at least have to have the resources and the people to help you help them, which you also have in this room because we're training WFG people to help you with this kind of concept. You have to know how to help the agent, how to help that mentality. We sometimes, when title gets put into the system, title seems to be always at the end or towards the end of the process, right? What happens and where does this process really start? So why do we, not why, we always kind of have to wait until that process begins for us to get involved in title. Why not stop waiting and let's go get involved with where it actually starts? Like right there. The real estate agent and the family. That's where your process really starts. You just don't usually get involved at that stage. And some of you may not. But the opportunity is if I can go help this process better and be part of the whole transaction, I've got more likelihood to get more business, more relationships, and in turn more volume. Here's the needs of real estate agents. I know it because I am one. I've been one, and I'm not selling actively today, but since 1988, it's almost 30 years. I've bought, sold, ran teams, ran brokerages, ran a company that ran brokerages, and this is what most real estate agent needs are if you ask them. Because I'll sit in a room with them. I know their answers. They need help getting listings. They need help marketing. They need better leads. They need people to help them convert their leads. They need to learn how to market better, how to plan better. They need to learn social media. They need to learn all that. And you might be sitting there going, well, so do I. I got to learn this stuff too. That's okay. Remember, you don't have to have all of the answers. You have to have the resources to be able to offer them. But also, by helping them or potentially helping them with these types of problems, and I'm going to share a story to make the perspective, you're involved now further along in the process with a deeper relationship versus waiting for title to happen. That's where the needs are. So the first thing I like to talk about is events. And I'm not talking about the event where you kind of just write a check, set up a table, hang out in the back, and like you participated. I'm talking about the event that says, hey, my name is Jeff Lobb with XYZ Title. We'd love to talk to your office about helping them with some social media strategies and winning more listings. If we could help your office get some more listings and some more listing strategies, would you be okay for us to do a little event together so we can help them be more productive? Now, maybe that's a script you've never used before or ever thought about, but you think I might get an appointment? Think about that. If I offer help to a real estate brokerage team and said, I focus on helping you generate more business, more listings, and how to win more buyer leads in one of our events, in one of our presentations, I'd love to talk to you about that. And we're not charging for it, we just want to come in and help. Do you think we might get some attention? Yes or no? Right. We're going to the source. They need help. They're starving for help. Just in some cases, you guys are too. It's another level. So when putting on events, it doesn't have to be this big event you just sponsor. What I want you to think about is an event that you can help put together by building the relationship, adding the value to it, adding the help or the speaker to it, and being part of the process, not just the vendor at the table. Because unfortunately, you don't get too engaged at that point. And I'll share with you some success stories that are working as we speak. Because I do this with title companies, and I know it works because I do it live, and we're in the room. And some of you in this room, we've done them together. You know who you are. And we put 500, 600 people or 300 people in a room, and you get to shake hands and build rapport with, and they feel like this is awesome, and we can build that kind of rapport. So events have a really powerful way to do that if it's done properly and you take advantage of it. This is a hodgepodge of words I would never put on a slide, ever. But for this example, this is a title company agent. It's a single agent in a title company. I won't say where or the name, but these are the things he markets himself as, helping real estate agents in their business planning and trainings that he does to offer real estate agents in their offices or in their markets to get their attention, to earn their trust, and to help them build their business. It's right. This is right from his website. And you might say, well, who needs all that? If I ran a class that said how to win at farming in your subdivision, and you're in the DC market or Virginia, and you got a lot of farm areas, and you got a lot of areas where there's homes and subdivisions, you'll get people to attend that. He's getting people to show up, to share his advice, share his wins. Or he brings in a partner that knows how to talk about that. And he's building a lot of relationships with it. Okay, so I wanted to screenshot that just so you could see the different varieties, but it's not just like one or two things. He's going all in on some topics that are really deep. So what's my story? So I'll tell you a story that happened, same model, different type of company. I also do some work with a mortgage company, smaller mortgage company, several states. And here's what I learned as a real estate brokerage owner. I watched the loan officers of this universe walk into my office on any given day with their stack of flyers or their bagels or their stuff. And I would hear the same thing. Hi, is the owner in? First of all, didn't even know who the owner was. Didn't know I was standing right in front of him. Knew nothing about me at all as a person. Just walks in with his flyers and would say to me, hey, I'm trying to get a meeting with the owner. Why do you want a meeting with the owner? Well, we want to, we got great rates and we want to offer some this and that. We want to do a training on FHAs and, we have great service. We underwrite in-house. And I'm like, yeah, you can leave those flyers right there. Thanks. Bye-bye. Next. 20 minutes later, who comes in next? The next one. Male, female. Got my flyers. Got my packets. Yeah, you can leave those right there too. Good. Thanks. Now, one person came in to offer anything of value to me. I don't need another person that says the same thing. And it's actually really funny to sit there and listen to them still come in and say the same thing. So I learned this, and I said, since I've had 30 years of real estate experience, and I understand the business and real estate and title, there's one thing missing. Loan officers do loans really well. I don't. What they don't know how to do is they don't know how to go talk to a real estate agent to get in front of them, to get their attention, to help them to actually build their business. They're walking in with flyers and they're getting shut down. So I said, what an opportunity for a niche. So what do? I partner with them. What's my job? To go get real estate agents' attention. So now I can get their attention by offering, hey, let's put on this event. There's no fees involved, no marketing agreements, none of the stuff being signed. Let's just put on an event. We're going to teach your real estate agents how to win better listings, how to use social media better, and how they can farm and prospect for better leads. We're going to do an hour-and-a-half session. It happens to be with my friends over here at this mortgage company, but I'm going to bring the value to you. Well, guess what I get? A room full of agents, 200 or 300 agents. What does the loan officer get? He couldn't get into people's doors or an appointment. What did I just give him? 200 or 300 agents. Here he is. Go shake hands with everybody, say hello to everybody. The door has been opened. And then I do it multiple times. And I do it with multiple real estate brands. I do it with independents, I do it with franchises, because I still know no matter who they are, independents or franchises, they all need the same help. I'm going to the client first. The mortgage companies just do mortgages really well. They all say the same thing, better rates, in-house, I'm on demand, call me on a Saturday, Sunday, I'll answer your call, who cares? The value prop wasn't there. Now the value prop is, we're gonna help you build your business, grow your business, teach you how to do it, show you how to do it, and let me come into your office and we'll make that happen. And now the door's open. So now they become part of the front end process so that when that agent does get their listing, they can do, the open house flyers and help them market it and do that stuff. Now every state has different rules and different laws, so I always want you to follow those based on what you can do and can't do in partnership with or even just shared flyers, whatever it might be, different rules, but it's open doors. So this story started 4 years ago. I started working with them. They had 40 loan officers. 4 years later, 4x their sales, trending to do $1 billion in probably a year or two, 160 loan officers, and now in 9 states. And we could get them in front of really any real estate audience they want. We just have to pick them. They have to be in an area where they can service them. And it's not like it's some bait and switch. This is true value of us going in and really helping them learn how to do stuff, real stuff. So I say to you, you don't have to have that experience and all this education. You have to have the partner or somebody you could bring in to do that, but it works. I've watched it work. I'm doing it as we speak. And I've also done it for some of you guys in the room where we put agents together and you know who it is, and it's working. So it's a value proposition that helps you help them one level deeper. Make sense? Okay, that's kind of the story of that type of company. And we're going to continue to grow it because all we have to do is just go open to another state, open another area, walk into those real estate offices and say, how can we help you? So that's the beauty of that part of it. And when you can show proof in growing sales, we have to get you guys outside the box of thinking, what else can you do? How else can we help that consumer drive that experience? Okay, so we talked about bringing sexy back to title. And then someone said to me, Jeff, title was never really sexy. But I want to change that. I want to change that. I want you guys to take the branding ideas from Brian, take some of the value proposition stuff and take it way outside the title boundaries. And by all means, by you still having the verbiage of whatever 5, 6, 7 things you do really well, whether it's, the faster service or better detailed, title or how quick you deliver it, all that, just understand that I want to assume you do that well. Think what's next? What else do you do? What else can you do? Because I promise you this, the ones who start to do those things, and I'm serious about this, the ones who start to do it really well will start taking your clients. It's truth. That's just how it's going to be. I tell the same thing to the real estate agents. Here's when it comes to real estate agents. You're either going to learn to do social media marketing because that's where the consumers are, or you're going to lose clients. It's your choice. And if you're okay with either one, I am too. But the business and the consumer has changed. You guys have 2 sets of consumers. You got to think about the end user consumer, but you got to think about that. And some people go, well, Jeff, I'm in an attorney state. Attorneys don't want to do that. No, but I'll tell you what attorneys do need. I know that I'm in an attorney state. I'm in New Jersey. I have a lot of friends that are attorneys. And while they have their own favorite title company, I've actually asked one. She walked in my office. She was a friend of mine. Unsolicited, walked in my office. And she didn't even know I was going to ask her a question. I just said, hey, just curious, you guys use XYZ title company? She goes, yeah, we've been using it for 10 years. I said, if I just got myself into the title business right now, what would I have to do to get your attention? to get your business? What would I have to do? You're an attorney. Like, you got your systems, you're comfortable, you don't like change. So she's like, oh, I don't know. And she started going and giving me all the title jargon. Well, the one thing they don't do that well is they don't, do this, that, or that right. It was a back-end system thing that I didn't even understand the language. And quite frankly, I didn't care. It's not what I do, right? But I said, so let me ask you this. As an attorney, do you practice other things? Yes, divorce and some other things. But what if I can get you 5, 10 more top producing real estate agents to come use you for business? Would that be okay? She looked and she's like, well, how would you do that? If I helped you, now I'm not asking in conjunction, like if I do this, you give me business. No, but if I can help you get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 more real estate agents to give you business, is that helpful for your legal practice? She's like, oh, hell yeah. Okay, good. So if I was a title rep and I was working with real estate agents that potentially I might have some influence, I could talk to them about trying you in this, would that be something that would get your attention to earn it? She said, absolutely. No one's ever done it for me, so I never thought about it. There was another attorney. How many of you have attorneys in your markets? Okay. So I'll tell you another story. I was at a cocktail party with attorneys, same conversation on title. And the question came up about, attorneys do their own thing, don't need help. So I said to the attorney, just curious, how big's your practice? 6 or 7 members. Awesome. What else do you practice besides real estate? Well, we do law, we do this, we do that, we do divorce. What's the most profitable for you? This is over a cocktail. What's the most profitable? Well, we make a lot of money on divorce, make a lot of money on, they were doing credit repair stuff they were doing and for bankruptcies. I said, okay. I said, do you guys do any social media marketing to market to the divorce market and or the credit repair company type platform? They're like, no, we don't even know how to do that stuff. I said, so what if we could help you build that part of your business by showing you ideas, showing you the strategy, not do it for you, showing you those strategies to help you build that on your profitable side of the business. Could I possibly earn your attention to maybe do some business? They're like, actually, we do need to hire somebody to do it. You know what I said, I could find somebody that could actually hire. You could hire, but I'll tell you things you should do and shouldn't do. But if that's a conversation you want to have, let's set up a meeting, sit in your office, and let's create a plan. I just got an appointment, and I'm not even in the business. I was just doing it as an example to see if we can help him. He invited me in. I helped him. I didn't want him to hire me, but I wanted to go through the process. That was easy to get an appointment. So those are things that makes this stuff kind of sexy. Because even if it's an attorney, they have other hot buttons and they can use other parts of the business. So don't lose sight and closed-mindedness. Everyone wants to make more money or have more streams of it. So we just have to find a way to help them. All right? So bring in sexy back. So kind of wrap this up. Here is what we're not. If Apple is not a computer company or a phone company or an iOS company, they're not. If Uber is not a car transportation company, because they say they're not, and if Legos says they're not a toy company or building toys, then you are not really in the title business. Title is your product. Your value proposition has to go way beyond that. And if you focus on the beginning of the process, the very beginning of where it starts, and earning that business from there before it gets to normally where it would get you, you'll win a heck of a lot more business. We have a lot of team in this room that's being trained to help you do this, your partners, to help you build this value proposition with you. And we want to help you try and guide you so that you can reach out to those levels and become something bigger and better from what you are today by reaching into deeper avenues of your value proposition. Fair enough? Come on now, fair enough? Fair enough. Great, thank you guys for your time.